Boo Bear, can you lay down? You want to say hi? You got all in your water bowl and splashed all around today, didn't you? You want to say hi? Look at how wet he is. Lou Bear decided he wanted to get all of his water all over, everywhere, including himself this morning. Isn't that nice of you? Yes, so now you're a wet mess. You're a wet mess. I love you though, but you can't be in the video. No, you can't be in the video, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go put him away. Okay, welcome back, curl friends. Today we are going to be talking about a special beauty review, okay? We are gonna be trying out a ton of things from Rare Beauty. This is one of the biggest reviews you guys have asked me to do when it comes to makeup. So I got as many of the things that I could get my hands on. This shipping from Sephora took forever. This is actually a Sephora bag that I went and grabbed one last thing in store, but it took me like over 2 weeks to get it to my door, and I thought, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do 2-day shipping, great, but shipping's a mess right now in the US. If any of you have dealt with that right now, what is it, March of 2021? It is a mess. I would say something else, but I can't do that on this channel. We are gonna be doing a full face of Rare Beauty. As I'm sure you guys have seen, this is Selena Gomez's line. It is supposed to be super clean, glowy, natural looking, and that is my vibe, okay? When it comes to makeup, I love to do something that is very lightweight, very natural, very glowy. If you've seen me do any of my other beauty reviews or just overall makeup routines, that's my go-to. Now, with that said, there are a few things that the line does not have. I don't believe it has a mascara. I couldn't find a bronzer. It did have a primer, but I decided not to get it because I don't know, a primer is a primer sometimes. So I'm just gonna use one of the ones that I have. Could not get my hands on the shade of concealer that I needed. So I'm just gonna have to use one of my go-to concealers. We're gonna do everything very dewy, very glowy. I just want it to be a very natural look, okay? Because that's kind of what the whole brand with Rare Beauty is going for, so I wanna stick with that. Now, before we get into this, I want you to go ahead and click that subscribe button, because if you are new here, you do not wanna miss any of my beauty tutorials, any of my beauty hacks, any of my curly tutorials, if you're a curly like me. But yeah, so I'm excited to have you here. Let's get started. Okay, so I already did my overall skincare, but I didn't do my primer because I like to do that right before I do my foundation. Today, I'm gonna be using the Too Faced Plump Prime primer. I've been using this for the past week or so. I'm just gonna take a couple little pumps and wipe that on my face. I got this a couple weeks ago and I'm really liking it. It's just kind of very velvety, smooth texture, which I like. Don't forget the neck. So now that we're primed, let's get into the first thing from Rare Beauty, which is going to be the foundation, okay? So I grabbed shade 210 in for a neutral shade. This is supposed to be, I believe, a buildable, dewy coverage. A foundation elixir, it's an elixir. A foundation elixir that feels barely there while building coverage and boosting your natural glow. Literally, that is everything I am here for a foundation, so I really have high hopes for this right now. We shall see. So, let's get this opened. Not sure what's going on the edge there. I don't think that's supposed to be there. Right off the bat, I'm just gonna shake this up a little bit. It sounds like it has a little roller ball in it. You know how sometimes they put those little beads in there to make sure that it can get nice and stirred up, because it is a very liquidy foundation, it looks like. I hope this didn't sit on the shelf for that long. This really needs to be mixed up. So this is the foundation right here. As you can see, it looks like it's gonna be a good shade. I'm hoping it's gonna be a good shade. I already have my little beauty headband to keep my curls out of my face, because otherwise I get foundation and everything all over my hair. Let's open this bad boy up. So as you can see, this applicator, I thought it was gonna be a dropper because it's so thin, but it's a lot more like a typical concealer applicator, which is interesting. I'm surprised by that, actually. Just double checking that it's not a concealer. I was like, I couldn't find a concealer. Okay, the shade looks good, so let's just go ahead and give it a go. I also don't know that I love that I have to put this on my face like this, because it's not technically good for germs and long wear. So, okay, we're gonna go for it. All right, we're just gonna go little drops.
Get a couple down on the neck. Color looks so far so good. So I have a beauty blender right here that we are gonna use to blend this out. So let's get started. So far the color is maybe just a little bit yellow, but not bad because it's blending out pretty nicely. I'm loving that this feels already so weightless. I don't feel like there's a lot of foundation on my face, which I love. Love, love, love that. See how this covers over here. I have a few blemishes over here right now that are healing. Coverage not bad. Just put that back here, blend that into the hairline. You always really want to blend into that hairline because you don't want any like stark color difference where you maybe have a little bit thinner of hair. Blend it down to the neck. I am really, right off the bat, really liking this foundation. The coverage is very light, which I prefer. I'm gonna go in a little bit more and just cover some of these little blemishes that I have on my face as of right now and see how it does for a second coat for buildable coverage. But normally I will get my additional coverage from my concealer where I need it. But we're gonna try this for, for shits and gigs. So let's take a little bit more, pop her right there, just on those kind of more problem areas. I'm just gonna gently pop over those for a second. That's not bad. I can still see it through there, but for it to be a really lightweight, buildable, luminous type coverage, it looks really nice. We'll see how it wears. I'm gonna come back after I finish my makeup after a few hours, probably later this afternoon. Right now it's 9:45, so maybe I'll come back around like 3 or 4 o'clock, see how it's doing at that point after it's had a chance to be on my face for 5 or 6 hours. I wanna see if it moves around. Sometimes these thinner foundations that are kind of more like hydrators, BB creams, hydrating foundations, they tend to move and break down a lot throughout the day. Not all of them, but some of them do, and it is a major pet peeve of mine, especially if you're gonna sweat. So I'm gonna touch base with you guys later this afternoon, we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna come up closer to you guys so you can see a little bit more clearly how this looks really nice and close. I think it looks good. Like I said, I couldn't find the concealer. Wasn't happy about it, but it is what it is. So we're just gonna go in with something that I think is gonna be kind of similar, which is the Hourglass Concealer. Similar price point, very lightweight, more luminous. So I'm hoping this is gonna just be a similar application. I really don't know. So I'm just gonna go in anywhere that I like to highlight a little bit more and anywhere that I want a little bit more coverage is where I normally put those. So we're gonna go back in again with the Beauty Blender. This one is actually from Eco Tools. They came out, I think, with this recently. Here, I'll show you a little bit closer. Don't mind, it's got a ton of makeup on it. Instead of having to throw it away when you're done, it says Plant Me. So it's 100% biodegradable, which is kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. And I think it works honestly just as well as the normal Beauty Blender, and it's cheaper. I am very happy with this one. And then when I do my concealer, I'm just gonna take my ring finger and just kind of pat and smooth this out to where I want it. And I also am gonna bring that up on my eyelid to just take out any of that red and darkness. It's also gonna count as an eyeshadow primer, which we're not gonna do really any eyeshadow today. Okay, so that is all blended in now. I'm feeling nice and highlighted. Now we're just going to give us a little bit more. This is another thing that they do not have, unfortunately, for Rare Beauty, but I can't go without a bronzer, so I'm gonna use my favorite Fenty Cream Bronzer. As you can tell, I use this all the time. So I'm gonna just go in right here with this kind of little kabuki brush and just give me a little bit of depth back in my cheekbones. Add that into the jawline a little bit. Like I said, we're not going crazy with it. We're not getting crazy fancy. Just enough to give me a little bit of warmth and shape back to my face. I was surprised, honestly, to see that Rare Beauty didn't have a cream bronzer because I feel like they would be all about that. And maybe that will be a launch they'll have this year. We'll see. Wishful thinking, maybe. My skin, I feel like right now looks really good. I'm really enjoying the way this foundation applied, so very excited about that. Now that we have this, I am just gonna go in and set. Again, this is something that is not from Rare Beauty, sadly. I'm just gonna go in and set underneath my eyes. This is from Hourglass as well. This is their Ambient lighting palette. I actually really like this. I got this recently. I forget where I got it from. I think Ulta Beauty sent it to me. We're gonna take a little bit of a fluffy brush, as you can see here. I'm just gonna take this lightest shade right here, which is, I don't see a name, so that's okay. So I'm just gonna take that lightest shade though in this palette and just kind of stipple that underneath my eyes to make sure nothing moves throughout the day. But I think I'm gonna leave everything else really nice and glowy because I love me a glow. Now, the next piece for them, I think it's gonna be blush. And y'all, I went a little crazy with the blush. So I think we're gonna do two different blushes on each cheek. What I got was this is their new blush, and this is called their Stay Vulnerable Melting Blush, and I just think the packaging is gorgeous on it. This is what it looks like right here, okay? So cute. And then it opens up, and it's just this little adorable pot, and it comes in a bunch of different colors. I got the Nearly Rose just because I thought it would be a really great color for spring and summer. And then I also picked up their Tried and True, which they originally launched, which is their Soft Pinch Dewy Liquid Blush, and this is in color Joy. This one right here is a little bit more of a peachy tone, but this one is supposed to be their dewy version. They have a matte version and a dewy version, and this one is supposed to blend better, so I decided to get that. So we're gonna go one on each cheek and see how it goes. This one right here is supposed to be extremely potent. I've watched a ton of people try this out, and if you go too intense with it, you end up looking a little bit like a clown. We're gonna go light and buildable with this and see how it goes. Again, this is actually a very similar applicator to the foundation, and I like to put my blush more here than on the apples of my cheeks, so we're gonna go right in there, just with a little baby dollop. And then I have my blush brush, so we're just gonna blend this out with this little guy. I'm not kidding, guys. I used one. Look at how that color payoff is. That's insane. I need to go get a rag to like take a little bit of this down because I feel like I'm about to have a clown face. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm just gonna blot a little bit of this off because I just don't want it to be too crazy. But let's blend this out now. Ooh, that is really pretty. Yeah, I'm glad I took a little bit of that off because a little bit really goes a long way. Holy cow, the color payoff for this is insane for you to use that little of product. Wow, that's gonna last me like an eternity. Wow. I love that color. I love it. Okay, now with the next side, we're gonna go with the Nearly Rose. Again, this is their newer launch. I just think, I mean, look at the way this palette is created. It is so pretty. I've never seen anything like that. So we're gonna go with just a little bit right here on the ring finger, and we're just gonna pat that in right in that same spot. Okay, so this one is definitely, yeah, you have a lot more control with it. And I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more to get that same kind of punch we got with the other one. And I am taking like the smallest bit when I'm going in with this, so that I can build it. I don't want to have the same problem over here. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there just so you guys can see how light and beautiful that is. It is a really nice cream blush. Even though this color may be scary to some because it looks like it's such a vibrant pink, you can tell it really isn't that vibrant if you go super light with it. So I love that. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more to see how we can build this up to a brighter pink and see the versatility there. Okay, so that's built up with a couple more little layers. As you can see, I think this one actually has a little bit more dew to it than this one, even though this is the dewy version. But I like them both. They're both really beautiful. I don't think you can go wrong with either of these blush types. And I actually also bet you could use both of them on your lips as well and use them as a dual to get a similar shade, or even potentially on your eyes too. They have eyeshadow palettes, but to be completely honest, I just didn't really feel like buying an eyeshadow palette. They didn't look like they were anything that special to me, and eyeshadow palettes seem to kind of be like a dime a dozen, it feels like. So I decided not to do that. So I'm actually just gonna go in with my Fenty Beauty again, and I'm just gonna take that with my ring finger, grab a little bit of that, and we're just gonna do, this is one of my quick, easy, everyday eyeshadow looks. So I just take that and put that in that crease, kind of in that like sideways V shape. And it just adds a little dimension to your eye without really looking like you have anything on. So I like this technique personally. And that is that. They did not have a brow option. So today I'm just gonna brush up my brows. And again, because we're going with a really light, very natural type look, I'm just gonna brush these up so that they are nice and full and feathery, but they are not gonna have color in them today. Okay, so now those are brushed up. Then the next thing that we have from Rare Beauty is their Positive Light Liquid Luminizer. Okay, so this is same type of bottle as the others, okay, as you can see. And this, I actually decided to go with the lightest shade. This is called Enlighten. Sometimes I find if I go with something that has a lot of color to it, like if it's more bronzy golden, it kind of makes my face look golden yellow in the wrong spots. So I was like, let's just go for the lightest shade. It'll look ethereal, hopefully. We'll see. Okay, so they went with the same applicator for pretty much everything. Not sure if I agree with that. Still not in love with that for the foundation, but I do like the foundation overall. Just not in love with the applicator. We're gonna just take this little dropper here, and we're just gonna pop one right here on the cheekbone, right here on the cheekbone. We're gonna go fairly light with it. I think I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender and just blend that out so it really just soaks into the skin here. So this is blended in with the beauty blender. It just really melted into the skin. It's almost like barely there, but it's still got a highlight to it. Now I'm gonna go in with a brush, a fluffy brush. See how this blends in. This kind of feels like the brush picked up a lot of it and then didn't deposit it on my face. So I think I like the beauty blender better for the highlighter. I actually wanna go in and build that up a little bit and see how that does. Let's go one more and one more. Actually, this time, let's add in the finger, because sometimes I like to just use fingers because it's just easier. Woo! Okay, I think I went a little heavier. Let's add a little bit on the nose, some of the areas that I like to highlight normally. Go a little bit on the Cupid's bow. And then I think I'm also gonna go in and just add a little bit up here. I like to add it a little bit right above the brow bone. Your finger doesn't really end up picking up a lot of your product. So it's really just moving and blending rather than picking up any of that product, which is nice. Yeah, that's really pretty. Actually, this is probably the closest thing I've seen to RMS's Living Luminizer, which is my all-time holy grail favorite luminizer or highlighter that I've ever used in my entire life. And this is a really close dupe for it. The RMS is in a palette, so it is a cream, kind of like this blush. This is really pretty. This is gonna probably take the cake. So natural, so dewy. I love it, I love it. The last thing we are going to try from the Rare Beauty line is their, I believe this is actually new for them. This is their Stay Vulnerable Glossy Lip Balm. Okay, so I think this is actually one of their newest launches and I'm excited to try it. Ooh, that's a cool package. So if you can see here, it's flat on this side, but then it's rounded on this side. So it won't roll away when you put it down. Well, that's genius. Well done, Selena. I decided on color Nearly Apricot because I thought it would go pretty with either of these blush tones. Okay, so let's take this bad boy out here. And, okay, different applicator, heyo. But this is very pretty right off the bat. Okay, so very minimal color, it feels like, for this color. I like the applicator. I feel like I can get a pretty precise application. Ooh, yo, wait. Okay, so this is supposed to be a glossy lip balm. Oh my God. It feels luxurious on my lips. It's not sticky in any way, shape, or form. I love the way this is feeling on my lips. It feels so hydrating, almost like a lotion for your lips, which is basically like lip balm, but it has the beauty of a gloss without being overly glossy. It's not like super in your face glossy. This is gonna be a go-to of mine for sure. This is going right in my purse. Absolutely. I love the way that feels. Okay, I'd like to try another color and see if the others have a little bit more color to them. This is very light, but that's super nice to be able to just pop on and not even really need to worry about is it gonna match anything, because it's just a very light pinky apricot. Yeah, this is the finished look. It's super light. It's a very everyday no makeup look. I'm here for it. This is the kind of look that I would do whenever I'm at home or I'm running errands or doing kind of whatever. I love it. It just really brings out my skin. I love the color that I chose, the 210 in. It looks amazing. It goes really well with my overall complexion. So nice, so nice. We can take this bad boy off here and just kind of fluff this out. I haven't really done my hair yet today. Might need to do a little bit of a refresh. Overall, you guys, I'm a fan. I think I'm gonna stan Rare Beauty. I love it. I'm definitely gonna be using this foundation. Before we go, I'm gonna leave for a few hours and then I'm gonna be back for you guys here in like a few seconds. And we're gonna see how this wears throughout the day. So stay tuned, I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, welcome back. It is now about 5 p.m. Oh, and Louie wants attention. Are we surprised at all? But we are back. I've had my makeup on now for about, what, 6-7 hours. So far, I mean, honestly, it wore pretty nicely. I did sweat a little bit. I've been outside, you know, so there is a little bit of movement, right? It's come off a little bit, and I really didn't do much setting either for my foundation. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. There are some foundations that are more hydrating like this that really do just move. And when I say move, like you touch them a little bit, they are all over the place, or you put your phone up to your cheek and they're on the phone. It drives me crazy. And this one didn't do that. I am very happy with the way this is worn throughout the day. Louie, are you happy with the way this is worn throughout the day? Are you happy with it? I understand why there's been such a hype around it over the past handful of months. Selena made a fantastic line. So if you guys are interested in checking any of these out, you can check out all the links below. Make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. But that is it for this week. And until next time, we'll see you next time. We'll see you next week. Bye.